My 32F sister, 29F, secretly married my ex-fiancé, 34M, 6 months after he left me at the altar, and now she's demanding I attend their vow renewal because family comes first. Our parents are threatening to cut me off if I don't go. Am I the asshole for refusing? I never thought I'd be writing this, but here we are. I need unbiased opinions because my family has made me feel like I'm losing my mind, and I genuinely don't know if I'm being unreasonable or if the situation is as insane as it feels. Some background: I met Jake when I was 25. He was charming, successful, and we clicked immediately. After 3 years of dating, he proposed during a trip to Italy, and I was over the moon. We spent the next year planning what was supposed to be the wedding of my dreams. My sister Emma was my maid of honor. She helped me pick out my dress, plan the bachelorette party, and was there for every cake tasting and venue tour. We were always close growing up, despite the typical sister squabbles, and I thought having her so involved in my wedding planning brought us even closer. The wedding day arrived. I was in the bridal suite with Emma and my bridesmaids, getting ready. My hair was done, makeup was perfect, and I was about to put on my dress when my mom came in, looking pale. She said Jake needed to talk to me urgently. My heart dropped. I went to meet him, breaking tradition, but he insisted, and he was standing in a side room, looking like he'd seen a ghost. He told me he couldn't do it. Just like that. I can't marry you. When I asked why, he couldn't give me a straight answer. He kept saying things like, "I'm not ready, and I don't think we're right for each other, and I'm so sorry." I was standing there in my wedding dress minus the actual dress part, in my expensive bridal lingerie and robe, and he was calling off our wedding with 150 guests already seated in the venue. I was devastated, humiliated. My dad had to go out and announce to everyone that the wedding was canceled. I spent the next week in bed, barely eating. Emma was there for me, or so I thought. She brought me food, let me cry on her shoulder, told me Jake was an idiot and I deserved better. 2 months later, I was starting to feel like maybe I could breathe again. I'd started therapy, gone back to work, and was trying to rebuild my life. Then I noticed Emma was being weird, distant. She stopped coming over as much, and when she did, she seemed uncomfortable. She was constantly on her phone and would leave the room to take calls. I didn't think much of it at first. I figured she was just busy with her own life. But then my mom made a comment about how Emma had been spending time with a new friend and seemed really happy. Something in her tone felt off, but I couldn't put my finger on it. 4 months after the failed wedding, I found out the truth in the worst possible way. I was at the grocery store and ran into Jake's best friend, Marcus. We'd been friendly during my relationship with Jake, and he looked uncomfortable when he saw me. We made small talk, and then he said something that made my blood run cold. "I'm sorry about everything." I told Jake this whole thing was a bad idea from the start. I asked him what he meant. He looked confused and said, "You know, him and Emma." I told him there were better ways to handle it than leaving you at the altar. I felt like the floor had disappeared beneath me. I pressed him for details, and he clearly realized I had no idea what he was talking about. He got flustered and tried to backtrack, but eventually admitted that Jake and Emma had been seeing each other since about a month before the wedding. According to Marcus, Jake had developed feelings for Emma during the wedding planning, and she'd reciprocated. They'd been sneaking around, and Jake's cold feet at the wedding were because he realized he was in love with my sister. I drove straight to Emma's apartment. She wasn't home, but Jake's car was parked outside. I waited. When they finally showed up together, holding hands, Emma saw me and went white. I confronted them right there in the parking lot. Jake tried to talk, but I told him he'd lost the right to speak to me. I focused on Emma. She cried. She said she never meant for it to happen, that she fought her feelings but couldn't help it, that Jake had confided in her during the wedding planning about his doubts, and they'd grown close, and one thing led to another. She said she knew it was wrong, but that she'd never felt this way about anyone before. I asked her how she could do this to me, how she could help me plan my wedding while sleeping with my fiancé, how she could hold me while I cried over him when she was the reason he left. She didn't have good answers, just more tears, and "I'm sorry." I told her I never wanted to see her again, and left. I called my parents from the car, barely able to speak through my sobs, and told them everything. My mom cried. My dad was silent. They said they needed time to process. Here's where it gets worse. My parents' processing apparently meant deciding that I needed to be the bigger person. They sat me down a week later and told me that what Emma and Jake did was wrong, but that Emma is still my sister and family is forever. They said Emma was deeply sorry and that holding on to anger would only hurt me in the long run. I was stunned. I told them that Emma had betrayed me in the worst possible way, and I had every right to cut her out of my life. My mom started crying and saying she couldn't handle having her daughters not speaking to each other. My dad said that forgiveness is important and that I should consider going to therapy to work through my anger. I was already in therapy. My therapist was very clear that I was under no obligation to forgive Emma or maintain a relationship with her, and that my feelings were completely valid. But my parents kept pushing. Every family dinner became an intervention. They'd invite me over, and Emma would be there. They'd try to force us to talk. I started declining invitations. 6 months after the wedding that never was, Emma and Jake got married. It was a small ceremony at a courthouse. My parents attended. They claimed they had to, because she's their daughter, but it felt like a betrayal all over again. They sent me pictures afterward, as if I'd want to see my sister in a wedding dress marrying the man who left me at the altar. I stopped speaking to my parents for a while after that. I needed space from all of them. My older brother, David, who lives across the country, was the only one who fully supported me. He told me what happened was unforgivable and that he'd told Emma exactly what he thought of her. He stopped speaking to her too, which caused more family drama. For the next 2 years, I maintained very minimal contact with my parents. We'd see each other on major holidays, but I kept conversations surface level. I didn't attend any family events where Emma would be present. I built a new life for myself. I changed jobs, moved to a new apartment, started dating again. I even met someone, Tom, who is kind and genuine and nothing like Jake. I thought maybe the worst was behind me. I was healing, moving on. Then, 3 weeks ago, I got a call from my mom. She was excited, which immediately put me on edge. She said Emma and Jake wanted to do a vow renewal for their 2-year anniversary and were planning a big celebration with all their friends and family. I interrupted her and said I obviously wouldn't be attending. There was a long silence. Then my mom said, "Sweetheart, Emma specifically wanted me to call you. She wants you there. She says it would mean so much to her to have her sister present for this important day." I actually laughed. I couldn't help it. The audacity was stunning. I told my mom there was absolutely no chance I would attend a celebration of the marriage that destroyed my life. My mom got upset and said I was being dramatic, that it had been 2 years, and I should be over it by now. Over it? I said. Mom, she married my ex-fiancé, the man who left me at the altar. How am I supposed to be over that? She said that Emma had apologized repeatedly and that I was letting bitterness ruin our family. She said Emma was my sister, and blood is thicker than water. I told her the full quote is, "The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb," which actually means the opposite of what she thinks, but she didn't care about semantics. The conversation ended badly. I thought that was it, but then my dad called. He was more stern than my mom. He said that I was being selfish and that this grudge had gone on long enough. He said Emma made a mistake, but she's happy now, and I should be happy for her. He said that if I truly loved my sister, I'd put aside my pride and attend this vow renewal. I told him this wasn't about pride. This was about self-respect and boundaries. He didn't want to hear it. He said that if I didn't attend, there would be consequences. When I asked what that meant, he said they'd been supporting me financially in small ways, helping with my car insurance, giving me money here and there, and that would stop. He also said I wouldn't be welcome at family events going forward if I couldn't learn to be civil. I was shocked. They were essentially blackmailing me into attending my sister's vow renewal to the man who left me at the altar. I told my dad that I didn't need their money, and I certainly didn't need to be part of a family that would choose the person who betrayed me over me. He said I was being dramatic and to call him when I'd calmed down and come to my senses. I called David immediately. He was furious on my behalf. He said he couldn't believe our parents were doing this and that he'd talk to them. He did, and apparently it didn't go well. They told him to stay out of it, and that this was between them and me. Since then, I've received multiple calls and texts from extended family members. Apparently, Emma and my parents have been telling everyone that I'm refusing to attend the vow renewal out of jealousy and spite. My aunt called me crying, saying she doesn't understand why I can't forgive my sister. My grandmother left me a voicemail saying she's disappointed in me for holding on to anger. No one seems to understand or care about what Emma actually did. It's like everyone expects me to just forget that she started an affair with my fiancé, continued it through my wedding planning, and then married him after he humiliated me in front of everyone I knew. Yesterday, my mom sent me a long text. She said that Emma is her daughter and she loves her, but I'm her daughter too, and this rift is tearing her apart. She said she's tried to be understanding of my feelings, but 2 years is long enough. She said Emma has built a life with Jake, and they're talking about starting a family, and she wants her children to know their aunt. She ended with, "Please, just come to the vow renewal. You don't have to stay long. Just show up, show that family matters, and we can start healing." I haven't responded. I've been sitting with this for days, and I genuinely don't know what to do. Part of me wonders if I am being too stubborn. It has been 2 years. People keep telling me I should be over it. My therapist says I'm allowed to take all the time I need, and that forgiveness isn't mandatory, but also that holding on to anger can be exhausting. But here's the thing. I'm not holding on to anger out of spite. I've done the work. I've healed. I'm in a happy relationship. I've moved on with my life. What I haven't done is forgive Emma, and I don't think I ever will. What she did wasn't just a mistake. It was a series of choices, made over and over again, to betray me in the deepest way possible. And now she wants me to celebrate her marriage? To smile and clap and act like everything is fine? To watch her renew vows with the man who was supposed to be my husband? The man who left me standing in a bridal suite, who couldn't even go through with marrying me because he was too busy falling in love with my own sister. My boyfriend Tom says the whole situation is insane and that my family is manipulating me. He says I shouldn't go, that it will only hurt me and set a precedent that I can be pushed into doing things I'm not comfortable with. He's offered to come with me for moral support if I do decide to go, but he thinks it's a bad idea. David is adamant that I shouldn't go. He says if I give in to this, our parents will keep using financial and emotional manipulation to get what they want. He says boundaries mean nothing if we don't enforce them. But I'm also tired. I'm tired of being the villain in my family's story. I'm tired of being painted as bitter and jealous when I'm neither of those things. I'm tired of missing family events and having a strained relationship with my parents. Part of me wonders if it would be easier to just go, get it over with, and maybe things could go back to some version of normal. But another part of me knows that I can never have a real relationship with Emma again. And going to this vow renewal would feel like I'm condoning what she did. Like I'm saying it's okay that she betrayed me as long as enough time passes. I also keep thinking about what happens next. If I go to this vow renewal, what's next? Am I expected to go to baby showers when they have kids? Birthday parties? Christmas mornings? Am I supposed to watch them be a happy family and pretend I don't remember that they built their happiness on my heartbreak? And what about me? What about my feelings? Why is it always about what Emma wants, what Emma needs, what would make Emma happy? Why does no one seem to care that being in the same room with her makes me feel sick? That seeing her with Jake feels like being gutted all over again? I don't know what to do. My parents are waiting for an answer. The vow renewal is in 6 weeks. I need to decide whether to go and keep the peace with my family or stand firm and potentially lose my parents entirely. So Reddit, I'm asking, am I the asshole for refusing to attend my sister's vow renewal to my ex-fiancé? Should I just suck it up and go? Am I being unreasonable for not being able to forgive her after 2 years? I genuinely need outside perspective because everyone in my life is telling me different things, and I feel like I'm drowning. Update. Thank you everyone for the responses. I'm reading through them all and honestly crying at how validating it is to hear that I'm not crazy. I think I knew what I needed to do, but I needed to hear it from people who aren't emotionally involved in this situation. I'm not going to the vow renewal. I'm also going to have a serious conversation with my parents about boundaries and respect, and if they can't accept my decision, then I'll have to accept that my relationship with them might not survive this. It hurts, but staying true to myself hurts less than betraying my own values. Thanks again for all the support.